and welcome to Business 300. My name is Philip Kulashov, and this is 300 Seconds About Business. We're all a busy people, so I have 5 minutes or less to get my point across. Vitamins are good for you, and they're easy to consume. Hopefully, Business 300 is something of that nature. Off we go. There are business managers who are not too good with identifying necessary structure, developing roles, and outlining responsibilities that need to be done. They know how to serve customers and are personable with their employees, but rigid roles and responsibilities get away from them. There are also business managers who love organization and structure. They like everything to be in its proper box and with the box outlined. Every responsibility has a role. Every job has an identified process. Structure is what gets them excited. Organization and structure is good stuff. It's necessary and useful. But whether you are good with structure or not, it's important to remember this. The business does not exist for the structure, but rather the structure for the business. As I've said before, business is all about serving a customer. Your plan and actions in approaching, selling, and delivering value to the customer is what the top dogs in the business world call strategy. Now, how you enable that strategy into fruition is where your structure comes into place. Your strategy pulls the needed roles and responsibilities, and you deliver on that pull through your structure. Is your strategy demanding a salesperson, a warehouse operator, or a front desk clerk? Then fit that role into your structure. But what if you simply want things to be more structured because structure is neat, even though your strategy doesn't need it? Well, you can go ahead and build that structure, but if it won't add additional value to your customers, you'll see that in your bottom line. To pursue your strategy successfully, you need structure. But the structure you employ can make or break your strategy depending on if your structure is driven by your strategy. It all depends on what takes priority. Does the strategy exist for the sake of the structure, or is the structure designed for the sake of the strategy? Does structure push its design onto the strategy, or does strategy pull a certain kind of structure? You see, structure is a weighty thing. It's heavy and immobile. If you want your business to fly, you need to make sure that you leverage that weight instead of weighing the business down. The point of structure should be to support and enable the strategy. Like I said, structure exists for the sake of strategy, not the other way around. Like a heavy mast on a ship that supports the sails that harness the force of the wind, the structure that you use needs to enable you to stay on course and move forward, instead of hindering your success. Whichever way you design your structure, it ought to always be driven by your strategy. So here are 3 questions you can ask when thinking about your company structure. 1. What kind of functions does my strategy demand? In order for me to bring my strategy into fruition, which jobs need to get done? Think about the 4+1 functions of a business that I talked about in episode 9 as a starting point. Note that these functions don't necessarily need to be fulfilled by different people. Maybe it's best if you have the same person wearing multiple hats. 2. How should these functions collaborate with one another in order to enable the strategy instead of hinder it? What's the best way for sales and operations to work towards the same goal? And 3, who has what authority? If finance is in charge of sales, will that weigh things down unhelpfully? If sales is in charge of operations, will that create havoc and chaos? Some authority should be centralized, while others should be divided. What does your strategy demand? There are structural questions that need to be answered and, from time to time, re-evaluated in light of your strategy. The purpose of your business needs to drive the design of your structure. So, when thinking about structure, think about 3 things: functions, collaboration, and authority, all in light of strategy.